Here are 20 tips that you always ignore while playing Apex Legends. Standard stocks helps with swapping weapons faster and also helps with aim smoothing. Here is an example of how it looks like with and without a standard stock. So if you look closely, you can see that there is a drift in your aim without the stock, but with it you get a significant reduction in the drift. Another use of stocks is with weapon swapping. You can see that it's a bit faster to switch to your secondary weapon with the standard stock. The time difference is just in milliseconds, and remember, for this to work, you need to have the standard stock attached to your gun that you want to swap faster. Punching walls. You can punch Newcastle and Rampart walls 2 times to break it. Remember, Newcastle can block all incoming nades. Reloading before you empty the magazine of a gun helps to skip the animation and reload the gun much faster. So use this to your advantage when you're in a 1v1 situation and need to keep the pressure on your enemy. Take cover always. Most of the average players in Apex keeps ignoring this simple tip. Whenever you watch the pro players, they always take cover while shooting, healing and even pushing a team. So stop healing out in the open just to get sniped from 1000 meters, and stop shooting by just standing out in the open and thinking you're in the matrix until you get shot in the head. Use the door trick to land huge damage with shotguns. Whenever you fight people behind doors, you can use multiple tricks to win that fight. For example, when you and your enemy are behind the door, wait for the sound cue to know that your enemy has opened the door. Once you hear the sound cue, move a bit back and the door opens by itself. And then land a huge damage with PK or a Mastiff. This will help you win that fight with ease. Few other tricks are like you can use the Octane jump pad to bounce enemy off of the doors, or just kick the door once to make the enemy freak out a bit. You can also throw nades from the tiny hole that's at the bottom of the doors. Pre-fire and then aim. First shot is always crucial to winning gunfights. So when you are in a sudden gunfight, always start firing in the direction of the enemy and then ADS, because you don't want to waste your time by placing the reticle on the enemy and then start firing. Just practice this method and your aim will get accurate over time. Spend time in the firing range before hopping on a match. Firing range is there for a reason, and use that to warm up. Spend at least 5 to 10 minutes minimum in the range strafing and shooting at dummies. Increase the dummy speed so that it challenges you. You can also use the mixtape to get a feel for enemy movements if you don't want to spend time in the firing range. Block off line of sight while fighting. What I see most players do in gunfights is that they are unaware of who is aiming at them. While they think they are blocking off line of sight from one enemy, but they fail to realize where the other teammates of the enemy are. This is because they lack in game sense. So always know where the enemies are shooting from and take cover accordingly, so you have a fair one-on-one while the others have no LOS of you. Re-peeking without shields. A lot of players do this. They re-peek when their shields are broken and get knocked as a result. So always take cover once you are low on shield and health. The only time it's good to re-peek is when you know the enemy is low and you're confident that you can knock them. So don't let the ego get in your head and keep re-peeking thinking you can win the fight when you're low on shield or health. Stop taking 5 minutes to complete a fight. Whenever you engage in team fights, you need to either push them or knock one of their teammates so you have an advantage. But some players don't even push a team even when they knock one person. So stop overthinking stuffs and just push and end the fight before a 5th party shows up. Swap shields quickly and press jump. When you finish a team fight and get ready for a 3rd party, swapping shields comes in clutch most of the times. So learn how to swap shields quickly and remember not to stay still while doing it, because it will make you an easier target to hit. If you want to swap shields and move around while getting shot, make sure you have turned this setting off in your gameplay tab. Because if this is on, then you get shot, the loot box closes and you won't be able to swap shields or loot. Stop changing your main for every single match. Maining one character makes you more comfortable and improves your gameplay. It is also recommended that you main at least a minimum of 3 characters and learn their skill set completely. By doing this, it gives you a confidence boost while playing the game because you know how to react to situations with your specific character's kit. Holster your gun while switching covers during team fights. We all know that we do this during our team fights, but we ignore it and then complain of why are we stuck in the mud. Always analyze your gameplay and make changes to it. For example, moving from one cover to another with your gun holstered makes it much faster, and you can jump, crouch, strafe while you're being aimed at, and thus making you a harder target to hit. So always learn from your mistakes. Pistol ADS gives you 100% movement speed. So use this to your advantage and strafe at full speed to make the enemies miss shots. The Wingman is a high risk, high reward gun, and I know you are ignoring it because it's harder to master. But once you do, you are him. During gunfights, swap to your secondary to finish off the fight instead of reloading your primary gun. This saves you a lot of time in finishing off an enemy. Take fights instead of playing scared. If you are new to the game, then of course you shouldn't hot drop. But if you are not a new player, then take fights because that's the only way you can improve your game sense and your skill. So stop holding yourself back and push yourself to learn from every fight you take. Know what guns are in the meta right now and use that to your advantage. For example, Havoc was the meta this season and everyone was running it. And now it's nerfed, but it's still good to melt enemies. So if you're clueless of how to know what the meta is, then watch some Apex news videos and be updated so that you are not left out. This will mainly help you if you want to climb the ranks. Never forget that you have grenades to throw, because that can change the outcome of a team fight. How many times do we forget that we have nades but don't use it? One nade that's thrown perfectly can change the outcome of a team fight. So always remember, you have nades. Basic strafes and crouch. You don't have to learn all the crazy rat strafes, snake strafes, etc. Just perfect the basic movements like slide jump, tap strafe, wall bounce, and even super glide if you have mastered the basics. It doesn't mean that movement is useless. It is useful only if you know when and where to use it. So learn the basic movements first and then move on to the advanced stuff. The last step is, if you are having a losing streak while playing ranked or pubs, take a break from Apex and play other games and then come back to it. Or an even better way is to watch this video right here and get to know what settings are the best to improve your gameplay. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.